Hey, mystery lovers! Before we dive into one of the most chilling true crime stories ever, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any part of the Unsolved File series. You're about to step into a world of fear, puzzles, and one of the most infamous killers in American history, the Zodiac Killer. San Francisco, late 1960s. The city was alive, but something dark was lurking in the shadows. On December 20, 1968, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen parked on a quiet road, expecting a normal night. Moments later, gunshots shattered the silence. By the time help arrived, both were dead. The community was shaken. This wasn't random, it was the beginning of a calculated reign of terror. Less than a month later, on January 4, 1969, teenagers Darlene Ferrin and Michael Maggio sat in a parking lot, unaware that their evening would turn deadly. Shots rang out. Darlene was killed. Michael survived. But the attack came with a signature. The killer left a psychological mark. He didn't just take lives, he taunted the public and the police. Soon after, his first letter arrived at a local newspaper, opening with the chilling words, "This is the Zodiac speaking." Each letter contained cryptic ciphers, symbols, and threats. They weren't just messages, they were games, puzzles designed to manipulate, terrify, and gain attention. The media published them, the city panicked, and the killer only became more notorious. The Zodiac was unpredictable. He struck seemingly at random, leaving little evidence behind. Witnesses offered vague descriptions, tire tracks led nowhere, and yet he controlled the city through fear. Experts believe he was intelligent, methodical, and calculated every move. Every crime scene, every letter, every puzzle was part of a grand design to stay untouchable while keeping the public on edge. San Francisco was gripped by terror. Every shadow, every late-night drive, every stranger could be the Zodiac. The killer had turned fear into his weapon, and the legend of the Zodiac Killer had begun.
The Zodiac Killer had already shaken Vallejo to its core, but his next move would escalate the fear like never before. People began to realize that no place was truly safe. Any quiet street, any parked car, any lonely couple could be his next target. On a chilly evening in the spring of 1969, a new attack occurred. This time, Michael Maggio, who had survived the earlier shooting, provided critical details to the police. He described the shooter as calm, methodical, almost emotionless. The description was vague, but it hinted at someone who was intelligent and careful, leaving almost nothing behind. Shortly after, the Zodiac sent another letter to the newspapers, this one even more cryptic than the first. It included a cipher puzzle designed to be solved by anyone bold enough to try. The message inside teased the authorities and the public, claiming knowledge of crimes they hadn't even solved yet. The city was on edge, reading and rereading every line, trying to anticipate his next move. His attacks were no longer just about murder, they were about control. The Zodiac thrived on the media frenzy, using it to strike fear into every household. Psychologists later suggested he craved attention, power, and the knowledge that he could manipulate entire communities without ever being caught. Witnesses reported fleeting glimpses of him, descriptions that were frustratingly inconsistent. Tire tracks, partial footprints, and the occasional note were the only physical evidence. Every attempt to predict his next step failed, leaving the police chasing shadows while the Zodiac continued his deadly game. The community grew paranoid. Couples avoided secluded spots. Streets that were once lively became quiet after dark. And yet, the Zodiac seemed unstoppable. Each letter, each cipher, each unsolved clue made him bigger than life, a monster hiding in plain sight. The Zodiac Killer had become more than just a criminal. He was now a figure of terror, a shadow haunting the Bay Area. Every new attack sent shockwaves through the city, and the police were no closer to uncovering his identity. In the summer of 1969, a shocking series of events captured national attention. Couples in isolated areas reported being followed, shot at, or mysteriously harassed. Some survived to tell their stories, others did not. Each crime scene shared a chilling signature, precision, calculation, and an unmistakable taunt left behind for the authorities. Then came another letter, more complex than ever. The Zodiac claimed responsibility for murders that had yet to be solved and challenged cryptographers to decode his latest cipher. Newspapers published the letter, sparking a frenzy. People stayed glued to the headlines, desperate for any hint of his identity or next move. For the first time, it became clear that the Zodiac's game wasn't just about killing, it was about psychological dominance. He controlled the narrative, taunted the media, and used fear as his weapon. The city responded by becoming hyper-aware. Every parked car, every dark alley, every stranger seemed like a potential threat. Police strategies failed repeatedly. Witness reports were inconsistent. Clues were scarce. The Zodiac remained invisible yet omnipresent, a ghost manipulating the public's fear while evading capture. Even cryptographers and amateur sleuths struggled with his codes, many of which still remain unsolved to this day. As summer turned into fall, it became painfully clear the Zodiac Killer was evolving. His attacks were more daring, his communications more elaborate, and his hold over the city's psyche stronger than ever.
By late 1969, the Zodiac
Killer had cemented his reputation as one of America's most elusive and terrifying criminals. The city of San Francisco and surrounding areas lived in constant fear, never knowing where or when he would strike next. He had grown bolder. His letters to newspapers were no longer just cryptic, they were direct challenges. In one message, he threatened further killings unless his letters were published exactly as he demanded. The police were scrambling, but no matter how hard they tried, the Zodiac stayed ahead. Witnesses could only describe fleeting glimpses, his face partially hidden, his movements calculated and calm. The cryptic ciphers he sent were a puzzle, a game for both the public and authorities. Some were solved, revealing chilling messages that hinted at his methods, motives, and twisted sense of humor. Others remained an enigma, leaving people guessing and authorities frustrated. Every letter increased his legend, making him more than a killer. He was a master manipulator of fear. During this period, a few survivors came forward with critical details. Their testimonies painted a picture of a man who was patient, observant, and highly intelligent. He struck with precision, leaving almost no evidence behind. It was as if he was always one step ahead, watching the city's every move while the police chased shadows. Communities changed their routines. Couples avoided secluded areas. Streets once bustling after dark became eerily quiet. And yet, the Zodiac thrived in this fear, controlling the city through uncertainty and panic. The thrill for him wasn't just the act of killing, it was knowing he had the power to dominate an entire population without being caught. The Zodiac Killer's reign of terror had left a permanent mark on the Bay Area. By the end of 1969, he had committed multiple murders, sent countless cryptic letters, and baffled the police at every turn. His ciphers remained a puzzle, some solved partially, others still unsolved, keeping the public and experts guessing for decades. He was a master manipulator, striking fear not only through violence but through psychological games. Each attack, each letter, each taunt was carefully crafted to dominate attention, control narratives, and evade capture. Communities stayed on edge, authorities were frustrated, and the legend of the Zodiac only grew larger with time. Despite the evidence, eyewitness accounts, and cryptic messages, the Zodiac's identity was never confirmed. He vanished as mysteriously as he appeared, leaving behind a trail of terror, puzzles, and unanswered questions. Some say he may have moved on. Others believe he could still be out there, hidden in plain sight. His chilling story continues to captivate true crime enthusiasts around the world. And now, after walking through the terrifying tale of the Zodiac Killer from his first attack to his last known communications, it's your turn to weigh in. Where are you watching this video from? Which case should we cover next? Have you subscribed to the Unsolved Files channel yet? If not, hit that subscribe button now and join the community as we uncover more chilling mysteries.